Alex here. This is going to be my first video on legal nuts and bolts. It's going to be a series that covers not necessarily high conflict child custody, but just a few handy things that I've learned in the court system throughout my experiences litigating cases with that I just think people should know. Like, it's not just an issue with high conflict child custody. It's an issue you should just know all around. This video is going to be on service by publication. So a lot of people don't know this, but you can serve somebody by publication. Basically, you put them in the newspaper, and that's considered service of process. Normally, what you have to do when you sue someone, whether it's child custody or not, you have to find them. You have to track them down and have them served by a third party, at least in Nevada. You can't serve your initial service of process, your first pleading can't be served by you. Somebody else has to serve it. They have to be personally served, at least in Nevada. You have to find them, track them down, and give them, your process server has to give them the papers. But what if you can't find them? What if, well, first you have to do your due diligence. You have to try and do some research and figure out where they are. But if that doesn't work, you can argue that the person is deliberately avoiding service of process, that they're deliberately hiding, whether it's from you or from everyone, whether they've gone off grid or whatever. You can go to the court, you can file something, at least in Nevada, it's called a motion for service by publication. And you're going to have to put some language in there. You're going to have to read some case law and make sure that you cover, all your, dot all your I's and cross all your T's, check the statutes and the case law. Because if it's not, if the motion itself doesn't contain what needs to be in it, and I'm going to go over a specific example of when I did this so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. The judge won't grant it, and then you won't be able to serve them by publication. So if the motion for service by publication is granted, you can then take the summons and have it put into the newspaper, at which point the newspaper will publish it in the paper, and that counts as service. You end up having to wait something like it's quite a while. At least I can't even remember. Maybe it's a month, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, or maybe more. You have to wait for it to run a few times in the paper, and then once it's done, you can go to court and you can proceed as if they've been served, as if you'd found them, even though you didn't. A lot of people, if they're hiding on purpose and they're really cunning, they know this is coming, and they'll wait until you've spent all the time and money to get an order for service by publication to finally file their answer and fight you. But the other people, really, they're just ignorant. They think you have to find them, and if you can't, they win. Like, they think they're playing a game of tag. And so they'll think that you haven't found them, and they'll think that they won, and then you end up getting a default on them, and they freak out. Like, how did I lose my court case? This person didn't even serve me. Well, didn't have to. Put you in the paper. And then there's some people who just legitimately have checked out of the world. They're just gone. And so they don't have a clue what's going on, and they don't care. You can take all their stuff. So anyway, in my case, I used this to terminate my ex's parental rights because she had gone. She was just totally gone, and nobody knew where she was, even her own family. So I had to look up the statutes under termination of parental rights, and they actually had a special statute in there to cover how you can serve termination of parental rights by publication. There was a little bit of extra work I had to do. And there was a case that I read, the Supreme Court of Nevada published, showing how basically what it basically led me to send messages to members of her family and specifically let them know that what I was trying to do was terminate her parental rights. Because based on the case that I read, somebody had claimed that he did due diligence by seeking out the mom or father's family, but he or she didn't tell them that he was trying to terminate their parental rights. And the Supreme Court of Nevada said, well, maybe they were just trying to protect her from an ex or something. So I read the case law, and I wanted to make sure that I satisfied it. So I told the court, I talked to all these members of her family. I told them that I was trying to terminate her parental rights. I told them that here's the date of the hearing, and if she doesn't show up, they're going to get terminated. And I put that in my motion for service by publication, and the judge read it, and she granted it. So I served her by putting her in the newspaper. So with that, I just want people, the purpose of this video is to just let people know you don't have to find someone. I mean, you should try, and you should serve them if you can. But if they're hiding or if they're playing games, there's a way to get around it, and this is how you can do it. With that, I'll see you guys next time.